In early summer 1998, Microsoft was ready to share their latest Windows operating system with the world. Following hot on the heels of Windows 95, released just under 3 years earlier and with many revolutionary changes to the Windows environment, this new version of Windows had high expectations to meet if Microsoft was going to remain successful as the new millennium approached. Windows 95 had introduced new elements to the Windows user interface that remained fundamentally unchanged over 2 decades later. This includes the traditional desktop, the taskbar, Windows Explorer File Manager, application shortcuts, and the ability to right-click to perform secondary functions in programs. With Windows 98, Microsoft planned to take many of these new features and simply improve on them. This would be an operating system less revolutionary, but would offer an improved experience to users with the features it already inherited from its predecessor. One such example of Microsoft's work in taking features available in 95 and improving these for 98 is the integration of the Windows Desktop Update, an optional component of Internet Explorer 4 for Windows 95. The desktop update's features would be brought straight into Windows 98's Explorer shell itself, so users of Windows 98 would automatically get many of the desktop update's benefits, such as a quick launch item in the taskbar, a predecessor to Windows 7's ability to pin items to the taskbar, as well as the ability to minimize active windows by clicking on their taskbar buttons, single-click launching of programs, and many additions to Explorer windows, such as back and forward navigation buttons, favorites lists, an address bar, and thumbnails for images. Another piece of optional software for Windows 95 whose features made it to 98 was Microsoft Plus for 95, which offered various shell enhancements for 95, and from which 98 inherited the compression program DriveSpace 3, the Windows Task Scheduler for scheduling the running of programs and scripts based on conditions set by the user, and a selection of desktop themes. Windows 98 also offered a tweak to Windows 95's visual style. Title bars of windows and dialog boxes now supported 2 colour gradients in 98, compared with just a single colour in 95. A few of the more significant features introduced with Windows 98 included the System Configuration utility, commonly known as msconfig. This could be used to disable programs and services that the user did not need. Another new program was the Maintenance Wizard that automatically performed disk error checks, pruning, and defragmentation. Also, System File Checker, which checked critical system files for unauthorized changes by programs and replaced them as necessary with original versions from the Windows 98 CD-ROM. Finally, Windows Update, which allowed the system to easily receive feature and security updates from Microsoft. On the 5th of May 1999, Windows 98 received a significant update offering many fixes for minor issues that had been identified in the months since its release. The update was known as Windows 98 2nd Edition and, in addition to the fixes, shipped with the newest versions of Internet Explorer version 5, DirectX version 6.1, and Windows Media Player version 6.2. Windows 98 has displayed an enduring popularity and is one of the most well-known and used versions of the Windows operating system. Its usage lasted well into the new millennium. Indeed, during October and November 2003, over a quarter of Google page views were still attributed to users running Windows 98, even though by this point, 3 newer releases of Windows were already available. Windows 2000, targeted mainly at businesses and power users, Windows Millennium Edition, and XP. Despite its enduring popularity, support for Windows 98 from Microsoft did eventually end on the 11th of July 2006, over 8 years after its release to manufacturing, and only around 6 months prior to the release of Windows Vista. Today, Windows 98 is a common choice as an operating system installed on a second computer for those requiring use of legacy software or wishing to play legacy games because of its general stability, at least compared with its immediate successor, Windows Millennium Edition. However, during a now infamous press demonstration for Windows 98 at Comdex in April 1998, then Microsoft CEO Bill Gates was highlighting the operating system's ease of use and enhanced support for USB and plug-and-play devices. However, upon connecting a USB scanner, the operating system displayed a blue screen of death and crashed. Bill excused the gaffe by remarking,
"That must be why we're not shipping Windows 98 yet."
Absolutely.
In this series of videos, I aim to explore the development of Windows 98 from its inception as Windows codename Memphis in 1995 through to its release to manufacturing in May 1998. Please enjoy the videos.